What is up, guys? Wrestling Premiere is here. Oh, this one. This one is so damn unforgettable. The Rock had been the face of WWE along with Stone Cold from 1999 to 2002. Once the year of 2002 rolled along, he went to Hollywood, and from there, he slowly drifted away. And once he got more movie roles, he disappeared basically. Yeah, sure, he appeared from time to time via satellite, but it didn't have the same feeling as seeing him in the ring. In this video, I cover the Raw episode where The Rock returned. This is the first episode of either Raw or SmackDown that I'm covering on this channel, and more episodes will come in the future. Before we get into this video, I just gotta ask you guys one question. Now, for my next video, I'm gonna give you 4 choices. The first choice is Legacy. I know you guys have been asking for this for such a long time, and the reason why I've been avoiding doing this is because that first video was my favorite video, and I just wanted to, save it for later. Second, CM Punk and Jeff Hardy. I know some of you asked for this too, and I think it'd be a great feud to cover on this channel. Third, Drew McIntyre. The reason why I've avoided doing this one is because I don't want to screw it up. But if the comment that states Drew McIntyre gets the most likes, I will have to do it. I won't avoid it. The fourth choice is a wrestler's movie. Yeah, it's random and everything, but we gotta diversify the damn content on this channel. We gotta be good. I gotta have a lot of different things on this channel. So that's the fourth choice, a wrestler's movie. Whatever one of those comments gets the most likes is the next video. Okay, right now, let's go back to February 14th, 2011. This was during the time period where the Green Bay Packers won the Super Bowl, and I just had to mention it because Clay Matthews literally appeared on the SmackDown the week before. Alright. The February 14, 2011 episode of Raw was held in the Honda Center in Anaheim, California, which was the home of WrestleMania 12 and WrestleMania 2000. This was the era of WWE where nothing happened. It was a pretty weird time period. Some guys left the company, some went part-time, star power began to dwindle, the storylines went nowhere. However, on the other side, this was a time period where guys like CM Punk, Daniel Bryan, and Dolph Ziggler began to step up and they tried to grab the non-existent brass ring. I will also say that SmackDown was really good at the time. Why? Well, Edge was a face champion for the first time in his career. Rey Mysterio was in some good feuds. Cody Rhodes had just wore that protective mask. And there's more stuff that happened, but that stuff happened later on in the year. Anyways, let's talk about this episode of Raw. John Cena kicked off this episode of Raw, and he was set to do battle against the leader of the new Nexus, CM Punk. Now, there must be a winner in this matchup. There had to be a winner. The new Nexus and the Chamber contestants are barred from ringside. Cena came out and he cut a promo on the WrestleMania guest host. He listed names who were possibly going to be the host, like Lady Gaga and Michael Cole. He made fun of Michael Cole and he said that Cole is in a love triangle with The Miz and Alex Riley. This was a time period where he's a fanboy of The Miz. Cena continued speaking, but this time he spoke about the Chamber and he continued rambling on when CM Punk decided to interrupt. The Second City Saint bragged about how he was 2-0 against Cena, and from there they had a good TV matchup. These two have always had good chemistry in the ring. It's undeniable. In the beginning, CM Punk had the advantage after Cena bumped into the ring post. After the commercial break, CM Punk was dominating and he was kicking Cena and delivering a suplex. He was mostly trying to wear down the champ at this point. Cena then recovered for a bit, but Punk quickly regained the upper hand. He continued delivering rights and kicks to Cena, but then the champ made a comeback. You know Cena's comeback, shoulder tackle, 2 shoulder tackles, and the 5-knuckle shuffle. He was about to hit the AA on Punk, but Punk pushed him into the ropes and he delivered a dropkick on him. That wasn't enough for the 3, and Punk continued his strategy in wearing down Cena by locking him in some submission moves. That would come back to bite Punk as Cena slammed him onto the mat. At this point, Cena was in the driver's seat. Nope, as CM Punk hit the knee on Cena, who was in the corner. Cena attempted the STF, but Punk countered into a neck breaker, and that wasn't enough. The action was fast and furious, no pun intended. Punk tried to wrap it up with a GTS, but Cena rolled him up. The two were just trading moves. It was awesome. The Second City Saint tried everything except the GTS. Punk then went up the top rope looking for a clothesline, but Cena caught him in midair, attempting the AA. Punk managed to evade the AA, and the ref prevented him from exiting the ring and going after Punk. This led to Hornswoggle, I assume, handing Punk a chair, and he threw it into the ring. The ref got rid of the chair. While he was throwing away the chair, one of the new Nexus members handed Punk a wrench, which he blasted Cena with. He then grabbed Cena and hit the GTS for the victory. For a split second, I thought Cena was going to counter. I don't know why. CM Punk hit him with a wrench, but I still thought maybe, just maybe, he would have countered it. All in all, it was a great way to open the show. These two, as you all know, went on to have absolute classics in the near future. Following that, it was explained why Jerry Lawler wasn't on commentary that night. It was because his mother passed away and Josh Matthews replaced him on commentary for that night. Following that entertaining matchup, Alberto Del Rio, a SmackDown superstar, came out to the ring. At this point, the brand split was still in effect, so this was kinda weird. But on the other hand, I do think this was to promote SmackDown 600, which occurred that week. Del Rio introduced himself to everyone, and Michael Cole was sucking up to him. Del Rio said the usual, "My name is Alberto Del Rio." But you already know that. He said it's his destiny to become world champ and everything, but then Edge came out. He said that he completely forgot about Del Rio because of his battles with Ziggler. He then mentioned the attack that Del Rio did to him a few weeks earlier with a guitar. The Rated R superstar then said that he has a destiny of his own, and then he dropped Del Rio and they brawled. But I wouldn't even consider it a brawl because it was basically one-sided. Edge was kicking his ass. The Rated R superstar then decided to spear Del Rio, but that wouldn't happen since Ricardo Rodriguez got involved. Edge did, however, spear Del Rio off the ring apron. Then all of a sudden, Vicky Guerrero came out, and oh my god, the boos were so damn loud. She was one of the most hated heels during this time period, and she wasn't even a wrestler. The boos continued, and she introduced Dolph Ziggler. Ziggler at this point had Vicky as his manager, and she was doing most of the talking. They then showed a replay from the previous week's SmackDown of Edge using the spear and Clay Matthews, who had just won the Super Bowl, counting the fall. Vicky said that since Edge used the spear illegally, he's gonna have to relinquish the title on SmackDown. Vicky also said that she has proof of Edge attacking Teddy Long, and they began laughing. Even Del Rio, who got his ass kicked, was laughing at all of this, while Edge just stood there. Before I talk about the next match, let me just mention one thing. Remember those February 21st, 2011 vignettes? Or they were advertising someone who's going to appear on 2/21/11, and some people thought it was Sting. Well, it turned out to be The Undertaker. I just wanted to mention it because this was during the time period where they began playing those promos. Next up was a Divas Championship match between Eve Torres, the champ, and Natalya. Oh yeah, it was a Lumberjill match. Was the Raw Divas roster this thin? Anyways, the two started off the match with some holds and wrestling moves. At one point, Eve showed off her athleticism by managing to escape the surfboard that Natalya locked in. From there, the two hit some devastating moves on one another. Following that, Eve threw Natalya to the outside and the heel Divas attacked. This led to Eve diving onto the woman, and once both of them entered the ring, they bumped into each other. Natalya then tried to roll up Eve, but that would come back to bite her, as Eve managed to keep Natalya's shoulders down on the mat to retain the title. Overall, it was a decent women's match. After the commercial, we find the Bella Twins arguing with Eve, and they're yelling at her, and she's just like standing there. And all of a sudden, it was an all-out brawl. Now, this was during the time period where the Bella Twins took a liking to Daniel Bryan. The reason why they wanted to be with Bryan is because they thought he was a virgin, not a vegan. Following that was a matchup between Mark Henry and, I don't know. At this point, Henry was just smiling and waving to the crowd, and little did we know that he'd become the most dominant wrestler of 2011. Sheamus, during Henry's entrance, attacked him. He said this is a reminder to the Chamber competitors of what he's capable of. He then delivered another bro kick to Henry. Sheamus was set to face Randy Orton later that night, and as for Henry, well, I don't even know who he was going to face. I'd assume it's Ted DiBiase, because he was like a jobber at this point. He was with Maurice, and he's losing matches left and right. From there, they transitioned to the Miz backstage, and he randomly shoved some guy. I never understood this, but whatever. Oh, and we also find Michael Tarver on his phone. Why was he backstage at this point? He wasn't in Nexus or in any storyline. Some people thought this would lead to something, but I thought it was bizarre, because he was always seen texting, or he's on his phone or something. Like, he appeared like every few weeks on his phone, and it led to nothing. The next match was between Daniel Bryan and The Miz. Champion versus champion. Daniel Bryan at this point was the US champ, and it was impossible to imagine him as the WWE champion. The Miz, meanwhile, was amidst a 3-month title reign, which saw him barely beat his competition. Alex Riley and Michael Cole made fun of Daniel Bryan as the crowd chanted Bryan's name. Anyways, the two started off the match with a headlock, and Miz shoulder blocked Bryan. Daniel Bryan delivered some arm drags, and he managed to hit a few drop kicks, but the Miz, however, bounced back with a boot, and he was in control from there on. Miz's strategy at this point was to wear down Daniel Bryan, but it didn't work out for him well, as Bryan started to make a comeback. Alex Riley on commentary buried Bryan, calling him an insomniac's dream. He's calling him boring. While Bryan delivered a flying knee to the WWE champion. Once they entered the ring, the US champion hit the missile dropkick, but that wasn't enough. Bryan decided to wrap this one up by locking Miz in the label lock, but he made it to the ropes. Following that, Miz hit a devastating neck breaker on the ropes to send Bryan to the outside. Right after that, they transitioned to the commercial break. Following the commercial break, Miz is still in control, but Bryan managed to hit a sunset flip off the top rope. awesome, no pun intended. The United States champion delivered some hard kicks to The Miz, but he failed to hit the final kick as Miz rolled him up twice. Bryan, however, countered Miz's moves and he hit a German suplex and he finally hit the devastating kick. It wasn't enough to win the match, and Miz would recover and slam him onto the mat. Right after that, Miz wrapped it up with a skull-crushing finale to win the matchup. It was such a fun match. I do wish it happened on pay-per-view, but it didn't even matter because this one was good regardless. Michael Cole continued to praise Miz, and immediately after winning the match, Miz said that he hopes Jerry Lawler doesn't use his mother passing away as an excuse at Elimination Chamber. He then said that he's awesome to end the promo. The next match was a tag team match between Michael McGillicuddy and David Otunga against R-Truth and John Morrison. Morrison came out and he was pissed. This was due to CM Punk spraying Morrison with something and his eyes were bruised. He didn't even do the slow motion pose, he was just standing there angry. McGillicuddy was all over R-Truth, and a new Nexus mostly had the upper hand. It wasn't until R-Truth dropped McGillicuddy with a back body drop that the team of Truth and Morrison had the advantage. Once Morrison entered, he was aggressive, which is something that Morrison didn't usually do. He was never aggressive. He delivered rights to both Otunga and Michael McGillicuddy. Morrison at one point had to be restrained by the referee because he was relentless in his attack on McGillicuddy. He just wouldn't stop stepping on him. Morrison wrapped it up with a knee to McGillicuddy's face. Right after the match, Mason Ryan got involved, but R-Truth helped fend off Great Value Batista. It wasn't a regular thing to see Morrison this angry and aggressive. I thought 2011 was going to be his year, but unfortunately it wasn't. The following segment saw Ariel Winter, who's a star on the show Modern Family, and most importantly to WWE, a star of the critically acclaimed movie The Chaperone. This was the guest host area, so you know how these kinds of segments went. They were random. She was there to host the Khali Kiss Cam with Great Khali. This was a special Valentine's Day edition. The Punjabi Playboy danced to the ring and Khali wished everyone a happy Valentine's Day. He said some stuff in Hindi while Michael Cole just mocked him saying some gibberish. He was like blah blah blah. This edition of the Kiss Cam didn't involve Khali. They showed many people in the crowd. They showed many superstars and divas kissing too. And at one point, William Regal kissed Zack Ryder on the cheek and he was all confused. Ted DiBiase, meanwhile, got trolled by Maurice, who ended up kissing Yoshitatsu. Then, all of a sudden, Hornswoggle came out from under the ring with a heart of chocolates, and he gave it to Ariel, who then kissed him on the cheek. What the hell? The best parts about this segment are when Ted DiBiase got dumped and when William Regal kissed Ryder on the cheek. The next match was between King Sheamus and Randy Orton. The two locked up in the beginning and they traded the advantage. This one didn't even last long. Orton hit some clotheslines, making a comeback, and Sheamus managed to halt this by hitting an Irish curse backbreaker. It wasn't enough for the victory, and they went up to the top rope where Sheamus hit a superplex. Sheamus then tried to go up to Orton, but he walked straight into an RKO, and Orton was victorious. Right after that match, the new Nexus came out, and then the rest of the Chamber competitors came out, and it was an all-out brawl. Orton hit an RKO on some of the new Nexus members, and Cena hit the AA on CM Punk. Man. Right after this segment, a limo pulled up and they teased a woman hosting WrestleMania. So, if it was supposed to be a woman that hosted WrestleMania, who would it have been? Anyways, it's time. The guest host of WrestleMania. This Raw was building up to this moment slowly. Who is the WrestleMania host? The lights went out and the fans were cheering, and all of a sudden some sounds were playing and suddenly the lights went out again. Then, if you smell what The Rock is cooking, I swear to God, when I was writing this, I had goosebumps. Like, you hear that loud crowd and you see the great one in a WWE arena. It's just a spectacular, breathtaking, magnificent, astonishing, and most importantly, electrifying moment. He was finally here. Probably the loudest crowd of this decade, bar Money in the Bank 2011. I don't even know if that one's even louder than this one, because it's questionable. Now, rumor has it that it was supposed to be Justin Bieber who hosted this one. What? Imagine Justin Bieber at the time with his bowl cut in a WWE ring. Also, they managed to deflect some of the Rock rumors by having a lady show up in a limousine. That's what makes this moment special. As The Rock stood in the ring, fans chanted, "Rocky, Rocky, Rocky." He then said that after 7 long years, finally. This time, though, it had more glamour. The Rock has come back to Anaheim. And then he said, finally, The Rock has come back to Monday Night Raw. Which means, finally, The Rock has come back. Small pause. Home. The fans went crazy, and just watching this reminds me of when everyone wanted to see John Cena face The Rock. The Great One then said many of his nicknames, the Great One, the Brahma Bull, the People's Champion, all that, as the fans continued to make noise. The Rock then took off his glasses and he said that he's gonna tell everyone this as Dwayne. He then explained why he was back, stating that it wasn't because of the money, it wasn't to promote a movie, but it was because of the fans. The Rock then said that when he left 7 years ago, the fans helped him accomplish his goals and his dreams, and he thanked every single one of them. He said that they are the reason why he's back, and then he said that he is never, ever going away. Rocky chant intensified and he put back on his sunglasses, which meant he was back to being The Rock. He mentioned Justin Bieber being the host of WrestleMania and the fans booed him. The Rock said that Justin's cool, but there's only one man capable of hosting WrestleMania. By the way, he talked to Vince about this. He was going to get Justin Bieber to host it. This is what The Rock's talking about. He said that the only man capable of hosting WrestleMania was the jabroni beating, pie eating, trailer blazing, eyebrow raising, you know. He then called out The Miz, and The Rock said that since The Miz calls himself awesome, that means he completely sucks. Once The Rock finished with The Miz, he shifted his focus to another man. We all know who that is. Right when The Rock was about to say who it was, the anonymous Raw GM sent in an email. Oh man, I watched this entire episode and I completely forgot about that trash. Michael Cole stood up and he announced that he's got an email from the Raw general manager. The Rock then cut him off and he threatened Michael Cole if he went up to the laptop. The Grey One didn't like the fact that the Raw GM interrupted him, and he said that neither he nor the fans give a damn about what the Raw GM has to say. Once again, Rocky chant intensified. He asked Michael Cole if that's what he thinks, and as Michael Cole is answering the question, The Rock shut him up with one of his legendary catchphrases. The Rock continued to threaten Michael Cole, and once again he uttered some of his iconic catchphrases. Michael Cole was embarrassed by all this, and The Rock called him a drunk hobbit. Michael Cole was like on the verge of tears. The Rock continued his promo and he stated that there's one guy who he wants to confront. It was John Cena. The fans booed him and many of them chanted, "Cena sucks." The Great One then mentioned that the WWE went from Stone Cold Steve Austin, the guy who drinks beer, and The Rock, if you smell what The Rock is cooking, all the way to, "You can't see me, you can't see me." He mocked Cena by acting like a little kid saying, "You can't see me, oh peekaboo." He's mocking him like he's tearing into him. He then mentioned all of Cena's colored t-shirts and he even called him a big fat bowl of fruity pebbles. Oh my god. The Rock ended his onslaught on Cena, saying that he will see him at WrestleMania. The Rock then assured everyone that it will be an electrifying WrestleMania, and he also guaranteed everyone that he will show them that he is the most electrifying man in sports entertainment. The Rock called the fans his backbone, and The Rock said that the millions, and my god, it was so damn loud. They followed along, the millions, and it was so exciting. The Rock ended the promo with the "If you smell what The Rock is cooking." I cannot express what this return meant to me and everyone else. The Rock was gone for 7 long years. It felt way longer than his last title reign. Like, that was 7 years ago in itself, and it doesn't even feel like 7 years. It was a long time coming, and I still can't articulate this return. Like, I cannot describe it. It was simply electrifying. I think it was the best return of this past decade. Why? Well, the way it came to be. Justin Bieber was rumored to be the host, and I shudder to think one of his songs being played in the arena and he comes out. Like, I would have been so annoyed at that, and the fans would have been too. He would have been booed right out of that arena. Plus, I felt like this one wasn't really that expected. Like, Brock Lesnar's was leaked a few weeks before WrestleMania 28. I remember that one. It was leaked like the week of WrestleMania 28 or something like that. And once he came out, everyone was excited, but it was way more expected than this one. So, that is why I think this is the best return of the decade. And that's it for this video. Make sure you hit a rock bottom on the like button and perhaps a people's elbow on the subscribe button. Peace. I'm out.